Hello, this is the 7th week, the first class of the collaborative classes from the 7th week. Right now, I began 10 minutes before, so Julian is already there, but Arelis is not there. For this class, I don't have a lot of people because, well, it was funny with the schedules. So, but however, we're going to work on the reading part, so I can send the others the link later so that they check. We are going to begin with an exercise of a listening. We're going to see the transcript of one listening task here, and they are going to predict what's going on, what's going to happen later. So yes, I'll wait. Okay, I'm going to call them. Hello, Julian, how are you?
How are you, teacher? I'm very good.
Oh, perfect, Julian. So, okay, as Arelis is not here, we're going to begin the activity. Today we're going to talk about the reading part of the SEPT, okay? Like pretty much about how to approach any reading plan from an international exam. But before we begin, I want you to make an exercise. Can you read?
Okay.
Can you read what I just sent you on the chat?
Yeah, I can.
So please read it out loud.
Okay, but now I cannot see the test.
2 seconds. You cannot see the text? Okay, I'm going to read it for you, so pay attention, yeah? So, Mary. I'd like to welcome Charles Long to the studio today. Charles has just published an article in New Science Journal about memorization. Memorization. It's all about how to make our memory function better. Charles' exam time is looming, and there'll be lots of teenagers turning in today. Can you give us some advice about improving our ability to memorize? Charles. Hello. Yes, of course. I'd like to start by talking about the process of memorization. It's vital that we understand the process if we want to make adjustments to the way we function. We all use memory in the same way. It doesn't matter whether you are a student revising for our finals or an adult standing in the aisle of a supermarket trying to recall a particular item for a grocery list. So, what do you think is going to happen next in this conversation?
Okay. I think that we will have some suggestions, more suggestions in order to learn more tips if we want to improve our comprehension and memorization.
That's right, very good. Well, we're going to check later. So, before we continue with that one, I want you to please tell me what are the most important okay, very good. Before we continue, I want you to tell me with that listening. That's a listening exercise. I want you to please tell me what do you think are the most important tips to approach a reading comprehension? A listening comprehension.
According to my personal opinion?
Yes, your personal opinion, yes.
Well, we have to identify the main ideas when we are listening to a track. It is very important to know the following aspects: where, when, and if we identify these aspects and we ask ourselves, we can learn more about the tracks that we have listened to.
Okay, right. So right now I'm going to send you one link and I want you to please open it and watch it. It's a video, yeah? So you're going to go watch it and take the main ideas out of the video. As soon as you finish, call me back, okay? I hang up. Okay, so as soon as you finish, you call me back. Bye-bye. Talk to you in 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Viaja a Aruba. Aprovecha las tarifas imperdibles para comprar solo hasta el 14 de noviembre.
For all exams, preparation is important. And one of the best ways to prepare yourself for a listening exam is to listen to as much spoken English as possible, as often as you can. That's what this student does.
I think that one of the best things is watching TV, because even if you don't understand it, you can understand it from the picture, but your listening skills are improved. But even better, I think it's radio, listening to the radio, because you have to concentrate only on sounds, not on the picture.
So TV or radio are great places to listen to authentic English. Don't forget that you can also practice your listening skills by watching movies and listening to music. If you listen to something that you find interesting, you're more likely to enjoy the experience and as a result, improve your listening. Also, get hold of some practice tests on CD or as MP3 files and listen to them often. As well as giving you further practice in listening, these tests allow
in exam conditions to be able to handle this problem.
When you're finally in the real exam, make sure you can hear properly. If you have a problem, tell the examiner right at the beginning. After the exam is too late. These tips will hopefully get you going in your listening exam. Good luck!
Ya, mi amor. Hello, Julian. Did you watch the video?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good. I thought I cut you off. Okay. So, tell me what are the tips that they gave you on the video for approaching a listening task?
Okay, this video, I have learned that we have to take into account 4 aspects. And the first part is listening to English as possible we can. For example, we can use technological resources as TV, radio, and music in English.
Yes.
We can. The second aspect is to do this test to get familiar with the accent.
Yeah.
The third one is practicing in a noisy environment, and it will help us to handle difficult environments.
Yeah.
And the last tip was to make sure that we can hear before we are taking the exam.
Okay, great, good. So now, I want you to taking those things into account. Everything you just said to me and what you said before, yeah? I want you to go to this link and finish the listening that we began with, yeah? The part I show you, the written part I show you was from this from this exam, sorry. It's a listening exam, so I would like you to please go ahead and listen to it and go to what it says. Yeah, check your understanding, multiple choice, yeah? And then go to where it says, check your vocabulary gap fill, yeah? You have to tell me what was your score after you do this, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to give you, usually what we do, and it's something they don't like a lot here, and it's I give you times. So it is 7:06, yeah? And I'm going to give you not 10 minutes. I'm going to give you 15 minutes because the listening itself, it takes the listening takes 5 minutes, yeah? So I'm going to give you 15 minutes, okay?
15, okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's 7:06. I'll meet you here at 26. Sorry, 26. At 7:21, okay?
Okay. 7:20.
21, yeah, but remember that you have to be very straight with your timing, okay? Well, 22 because it's 7:07. Yeah? 7:22.
Okay. I call you again or you call me?
Well, if you don't call me, I call you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give you 15 minutes. Bye-bye.
Okay.
You begin, and as Arelis just came here, I'm going to explain here what we did, okay?
Okay. Okay, wait. So I have to
Hang up.
listen to the video.
Yep.
Okay. And right click on the link to save on file. Okay. Where do I have to choose the?
Did you open the link?
Yeah.
Did you open the link?
Okay.
Yeah. In the link, you can see like there is a picture, yeah? Down there,
Yeah.
you have an arrow to play, and down there you have 2 options.
Check.
Yeah, where it says check your understanding, multiple choice selection, and check your vocabulary gap fill, okay? You're going to make those 2 things. I'm giving you 15 minutes because it takes 5 minutes, yeah? So don't worry, go ahead, go and do that exercise, and while you do that, I'm going to tell Arelis what we just did, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. I'll see you in 15 minutes. Bye-bye. You hang up, please.
Okay.
Hello, Arelis, how are you?
Hello, teacher. I find very good. And you, teacher?
I'm fine, thank you. I have been a little bit sick, but it's okay. How are you? How is your daughter?
My daughter is already very good for health. And in this moment, wake up. She was woke up, and this moment, already to continue to this study. I know in these days, Luz Helena is developing the step to today.
Yeah, I know that. Yes.
I was I was very expecting with her because she was studying very hard. She was making very effort to that to get the good
Good
scores.
grade, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's hope everything goes well. Let's just give her
teacher.
our best
And I
energy.
hope so. Yes. See,
Yeah.
it feels very I don't know. Can I say a nervous, afraid? I don't know.
Yeah.
With my friend.
Yeah,
Later I will call you and consider good news. I hope very good news.
Yeah, me too. I know you all have been working really hard to get good grades. So I really hope you get it. Like, we're working to it. Okay, so Arelis, look at this. The first thing I want you to do is I'm going to read something to you, and then you tell me what you think what are they going to tell you later, okay? So, listen carefully. Mary, I'd like to welcome Charles Long to the studio today. Charles has just published an article in New Science Journal about memorization. It's all about how to make our memory function better. Charles' exam time is looming, and there will be lots of teenagers turning in today. Can you give us some advice about improving our ability to memorize? Charles: Hello! Yes, of course. I'd like to start by talking about the process of memorization. It is vital that we understand the process if we want to make adjustments to the way we function. We all use the memory in the same way. It doesn't matter whether you are a student revising for your finals or an adult standing in an aisle of the supermarket trying to recall a particular item from a grocery list. Yeah? So, Arelis, you can find this on the chat, what I just read. Can you please tell me what do you think that this listening is going to be about?
Teacher, I have to say about tips for the listening, and it says it's the most important to get memorization. Yes.
No. Wait.
Oh, what is can I say?
Look,
I don't understand in this moment.
Don't worry, it's okay. On the chat, if you open the chat of our call, you are going to see what I just read. Yeah, it says, Mary, I'd like to welcome blah blah blah. All the text I read. Yeah, I want you to take a look at that text and tell me, what do you think the text is going to be about? Martinita, tápate ya. Sí, amo, pero mejor que te tapes. Arelis, are you there?
They say exam time is looming.
Yeah.
A lot of teenagers. Something about teenagers. I can choose about that.
Yeah, you can imagine whatever they are going to say. Imagine, yeah. Good. Okay, so you think it's something about teenagers, yeah?
Teacher, what does mean looming?
Looming is like coming. Like sometimes it's like we are almost there, yeah? Like it's really near.
It said is I have to make advice for theirs about the ability to memorize for the teenagers. Something like that. Can I say?
Yes, of course you can say that. Yes. So now, Arelis, go to the link you have below it. Look, I'm going to share my screen with you. Now, please go to this link, and I'll give you 3 minutes to watch the video. Okay? Watch the video and get the tips for the listening exams, okay?
Yes, teacher.
So now you're
For
going.
this and listening.
Yes.
I can hang up. Yes. Okay.
Yes, of course, of course. I can call you back in 3 minutes. Just go ahead and do it. Bye-bye. So, hello, Julian. Hello, Arelis.
Okay, teacher, hello.
Arelis, I didn't have time to introduce you to Julian. Julian just began last week, and I'm going to, try to tell him all the things we have seen up to now. And, we are here today on the reading part, yes? So, Arelis just watched the video. Arelis, how was it with the video? What did you learn from the video?
Teacher, I was watching the video, but the internet is very bad. The connection. We can have spoken in the uncomfortable environments without making noise. It could be a good, what can I say? Put our brain in other places. It could be airport, it could be bus stations, and it could be prepared for the listening test. The other I can see is the we can listen music for interesting songs. It could be make a band and no distract with the pictures. And the other side is TV, watching movies, interesting movies, and we can learn expressions, useful expressions. I can say in that, I can see it seems very important in that video, teacher.
Well, that's more like how to prepare for a listening test, yeah? Julian, so guys, I'm going to share my screen with you, and here we are going to choose whatever, this one, and I want Arelis and Julian to think about tips of how to approach a text. A listening test. We have to think about that. The video was telling us how to study for the test, yeah? So, this is going to be called what should I do when presenting a listening test. So, Julian, what is the first thing that you think you should do for preparing for a listening test?
I consider them okay. Good evening, classmate. And my name is Julian Rego. Okay, according to your question, tutor, I think that it's very important to be in an English to learn before studying. Okay, share with the idiom, with the language.
Study. Okay. What should you do? I mean, okay, let's imagine. Do you know? Yeah, you know how is the scepter, right?
Yeah.
So, let's remember how is the listening part of the scepter. What do you think was the most, like the hardest part of this listening?
Okay. I consider the most complicated was the pronunciation between American and British pronunciation. We have different sounds, and we can get confused because it's very difficult to understand the British pronunciation.
That's right. Okay, good. Did you have a problem with the timing?
Time?
Yeah, the times that they give you.
No. Everything was good according to time.
Okay, Arelis, what do you think that are the tips to approach a listening text? Yeah. Sorry, it's test.
And the other thing that I can say before is say before to begin this exam, we have to make a property when I'm hearing in the moment when I start the test. It's the last tip that I say in the video.
That is super important, yes, because sometimes you don't listen and you continue, and that's bad, yeah.
And understand other things, but I did making other questions, and we can make wrong question or make wrong answers.
Now, Julian, can you see the screen now?
Excuse me, the screen now, the letter, because it's
okay,
dark.
okay. So it's okay, don't worry, we can change it. Let me just change it to white. Do you see it now?
Yeah, better.
Good, great. Arely, so you say before beginning, like, say if you're listening correctly or not, yeah? Okay, Arelis, when the test begins, what should you do? I know, sorry. Excuse me, boys. Today, yeah, sorry. My brain is not working really fast today. I have been really sick, so that's what happens. Yes, Arelis. So, continue, Arelis.
Teacher, sometimes we imagine listening other things and other words, and we can say the other answers. But for example, in the septo, when start the listening is very quickly, hurry up, and the timing is very and I don't have time to think.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
For example, yes, teacher. For example, make 6 questions and 1 and 2 minutes, and we have to make the answer in 2 minutes. And I have 2 opportunities to listen that. It's Britannic. It's not the English like the always we are studying all time. It's very different. Some words, and there are many words that I understand, and this tip is very difficult to apply in the septum.
Yes. Okay, yes, but let's remember that we have learned through these other skills that there are some tips that I can always do when presenting an international exam, yeah? So, remember that the first thing that we have to do is on the septo, they give you like, how many seconds do they give you to read the listening part questions? Do you remember? Who remembers? Julian, do you remember?
How many what?
Seconds they give you. They give you some seconds to read. How many seconds do they give you?
Okay, to tell the truth, I didn't have time.
You don't?
I have free time, but it was necessary to take to take it in an hour. I
With the
could,
listening too?
yeah, listening and reading.
Yeah, that's why. But what I mean, excuse me, is that when you begin, I have to stop sharing my screen because I have to check something from the Scepter right now. Give me 2 seconds. But what I mean is when you begin the listening exercise, they tell you to please to read. It says like you have 10 seconds to read this part. Then listen to the exercise 2 times, something like that. Yeah, but I don't exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember. I remember.
Let me check. I'm opening the Scepter thing I have here so that I can give you exact times. But the thing is, so it is important. I was going to tell you, children, it is important to first of all, Arelis, remember what we have been learning always, like during these last weeks. What should I do first?
In the reading, yes? We always, in the reading, we were saying about the most important, don't read all text, make using the most important words in the every question. Don't lose time in the second ideas and the other distractions. And for example, don't forget the infer. Don't forget infer and make interpretation, because in the same it's most important make inference.
It depends.
It's
Yeah.
all time make it.
It depends. Not always, but usually it is. Yeah. So look at this. What you said was very important. So first of all, take advantage of the time they give you to read the listening questions. Yeah, the questions that you have there. Yeah, so read them. And then what other thing did you say, Arelis? I think that you said some important things there. Can you please repeat? Excuse me.
I said don't read the whole text. Focusing the most important words in each question, because sometimes the main word in the question sometimes appear with other words in the text, and we have to make our interpretation, because we have to find the similar idea replaces with other words, but we have to pay attention or be very careful with that cases or with that kind of readings. It's the most important.
Yes, and another thing that you said was in fear. Yeah, sometimes sometimes I will not be given. Yes,
all time.
I will. Well, in the first part of the septo, you will be given the same words as the images you see. Yeah. So, for example, I remember one where it says, if he traveled by car or by train or by airplane, yeah? And the image you have is the exact same word, yeah? But on the other part, where it's a longer listening, sometimes you are focusing on just one word and they don't say that word. They say another thing. So you should be very attentive to listening to the synonyms or the ways they are saying, like new sentences that can be what you are looking for. Yeah, so it's really important to look at this. Focus on important words sometimes, but general ideas is what you really need to know. Yeah, so Julian already did an exercise. Arelis, I cannot do it with you right now, but you have class later, so we're going to do the exercise with you later. Julian, what happened with your listening exercise, the one that you just did?
The listening exercise. I agree with you, Tutor. The main idea is to identify synonyms and how do you pronounce antonyms?
Antonyms, yeah, antonyms.
Antonyms, right? Because with the tracks, we don't have the same words. Okay, answer. We have to infer the other side of the sentence.
But I mean, on the exercise that you just did, the one I gave you, yeah. You had in one 4 out of 6, and on the other 5 out of 8, yeah. What happened there? What do you think was the problem there?
I consider that I had here new vocabulary,
Yes,
I consider that it's necessary to be a lot update according to current information. For instance, if we are talking about technology, it's necessary to know vocabulary about these topics. For instance, I didn't know random. I didn't know the word random track that it is conducir. I don't remember track.
It's okay, don't worry. But what happens, Julian? What happens when you don't understand one word and you are in the middle of an exam? What should you do? What do you think you should do?
I have to understand. I have to try understanding the rest of the
Yes,
sentence.
that's right. Very good, very good. Okay, so take a look at these boys. I began 10 minutes before. And as we are just two, well, it was really fast. So I'm going to give you guys one homework for the next week, yeah? And the homework is that you are going to go to this link. It's the same link we were just doing, but the link I sent you is B1, yeah? So as that is B1, you are going to choose for next week, you are going to choose 4 listening exercises from those you have there, yeah? And you are going to do all of them and take a screenshot at the end when you finish. As they are B1, they should be okay. There is one thing that can help you. I'm going to show you. When you come here, do you see my screen, Julian?
No, I cannot. It is black?
No.
Oh. Okay. Share screen.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And
I
Arelis, can you see my screen?
I can see nothing about the text. Only
what, honey?
are you sharing something about that? Something about reading?
So,
No,
about
teacher.
listening. I'm sharing one listening page. Do you see that?
Only say share the sound in the equipment, share the screen.
No, wait. Do you see my screen now, Arelis? I'm on the calling.
I can see anything, teacher.
Oh God, I just wanted to show you something. Okay, so listen to me. The link I sent you is a link for B1 exercises, yeah? When you go to each exercise,
Yes, in this moment I can
now
see.
you can see, good. Look,
Yes, advice for
exactly.
Advice
So
for
you
exam.
come
Yes, I
here.
can see.
This is very good practice because here on this page, you have this. Do you see that it says transcript here? So you can read along with the listening, yes? I don't want you to do it forever. I need you to do this for maybe 2 exercises, and the other 2 exercises do not use the transcript. Just play it and go ahead and do this check your understanding, multiple choice, and then check your understanding grouping. What is good about this Learn English Teens thing is that, well, it's British, yeah, so you're going to have a lot of British accents here, and it is also you have the opportunity to read along with the listening, and this is very good. Another thing I'm going to share with you right now is this. I don't know if you like music, but if you do, this is another very good link to to go ahead and train listening. You know that listening to music is harder because in the music you have a lot of instruments sounding, yeah, and sometimes you don't quite understand it. So I'm going to share that with you, and I'm going to let you know how it works. 2 seconds.
But that was one of the suggestions given by in the first.
Yes.
Try to listen English in a listening
Yeah, that's why.
So the instruments is
Yeah, that's why it's good, you know. So look, here you can registrarse, yeah, and then, well, I have my account here, so I'm going to show you how it works with my account. I used to work with this a lot with my students, and I have to tell you that they love this, and it's a very good way to continue improving, yeah. So I'll show you. You just go here. First you have to register, and then you can log in, and here you look English, yeah. You can choose English from Canada, like each song has a different type of English, yeah. So you go to English, and here I have to say aceptar cookies, and here if I go down, so I scroll down here, see, it shows me this is British English, this is American English. So this will help you a lot, yeah. So I hope that for this week you can develop 2 exercises of this page, 2 exercises, and from this page I would like you to try it. Just see if you like it. If you don't, it's okay, but it's a very good way of training your listening skill, okay?
Okay.
Okay, very good. So, Arelis,
Yes.
I'm going to send you the links to begin the reading part on the 20 minutes we have later on. And Julian, on the next part of the class, we are going to talk about some tips that we learned for other skills, which are going to make you be more in context and understand a little bit like how to approach the tests before, yeah? So they're just like tips, okay?
Okay.
As we began 10 minutes before, I don't know if you agree that we begin with your 20 minutes now, or if you can give me 5 minutes and then we begin.
Excuse me, teacher.
Julian, if you can give me 5 minutes to begin our one-on-one, and we begin at 7:50, so it would mean that Arelis, I would be with you at... Yes,
Okay.
very good, very good.
Okay. In order,
Yes?
in order she watches the video.
Yes, no, right now, okay, vamos a parar un segundo, acá ya en este momento, como ya, es que empecé 10 minutos antes, me disculpo porque he estado muy enferma, entonces en realidad quisiera hoy acabar, pues más temprano. Entonces, Arelis, tú tienes horario de 8:49, ¿verdad? Pero entonces lo que quisiera...
Sí, profe, no vi uno más temprano, pero si la profe puede, pues algo, porque de igual manera uno también, pues también tengo por subir notas y eso, profe.
Bueno,
No
Arelis,
sé.
pues si quieres, si, Arelis, si tú me permitieras correr tu encuentro, yo te lo repongo tal vez mañana o el jueves, porque estoy realmente, tengo una virosis, y pues ahorita me tocó dormir un rato en la tarde para poder estar acá, pero ya estoy otra vez como mareada. Entonces, sí.
Pues sí, profe, entonces si me puede cambiar su horario para que también usted pueda descansar, profe, porque uno sabe también cómo es todo esto de estas prácticas así en
Gracias,
línea.
Arelis, gracias. Y entonces con Pedro comenzaríamos, bueno, no, comenzamos de una vez para correr todo 10 minutitos, ¿sí, Pedro?
Ok, super. O sea, los 20 minutos de las 8:20 se correría
Ay,
ahorita en
sí,
este momento.
sí, por favor.
Ok, super.
Ok, so,
Profe,
dime, Arelis.
profe, me gustaría si me corre la de hoy.
Ay, discúlpame. Te he dicho que sí. O sea, los 20 minutos desde las 8 a 8:20 los corremos para este momento.
Sí se puede, sí puede, sí. ¿Sí
O
podemos?
sea, yo puedo, no sé si tú puedes, pues como tú me decías.
No, yo pensaba 5 minutos, pero cuando eran las 7:45, no me quiero correr tanto. Entonces no te preocupes, comencemos tranquilos. Ya abrí lo que necesitaba abrir para que podamos hacer bien nuestra clase y ya está perfecto, entonces no te preocupes.
Ay, ya me había perdido. Me angustié y dije, ¿será que no me vuelve a llamar?
No, don't worry. Okay. So, okay. The first thing that the first ability, skill that we were talking about on this septo preparation course was the writing skill, yeah? And for the writing skill, I had students watch this video, which you are going to watch right now, so that we can begin with the writing part, okay? So, there you have it's really short, it's 53 seconds. Go ahead and watch it and I'll call you in 1 minute and a half.
Okay, open the link.
Yes. And bye-bye.
Okay.
How to Write a Great Essay by Brianna. So you have this hamburger called the literacy. If you would see it, you would see a top bun and you would put your thesis in it, and your thesis is technically your intro, and then you would go down and then there would be a detail box, and then you would explain just a few details about what you were talking about, but then you would have to go down again, and then you would technically flip your thesis statement, which is your intro, but instead you would put in conclusion. And I'm finished.
Okay.
Easy peasy, right? She explains it super easy. So, how do you do with your writing skill? Is it good, so?
I consider that I have a good skill. According to writing, yeah, I have a good score.
So what was the problem? What was the bad score that you got?
I had a B1. I had a good level. The lowest score was listening and reading. With writing was good. They were good.
Okay, no. So let's move on to reading then. Okay, you know what is writing? Yeah, that writing you should develop an essay that you must have at least. Well, it'd be better if you have 5 paragraphs. Yeah, 1 introduction paragraph, 1 conclusion paragraph, and the body where you state your pros and cons, and that's it. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Very good. So now, as that's good, so we are going to move on to the reading part. The reading plan. Let me see. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. For the reading plan, the reading part. Okay. So, for the reading part, give me 2 seconds. This is lesson 5. That was the lesson 5. Excuse me. For the reading part, we read and watched a video. Well, first we watched a video and then we read an article to get some tips to approach the reading part and not fail there, yeah? So I'm going to send you the link of the video Please watch it, get the tips, write the tips, and then we are going to read together one article, okay?
Oh.
So go ahead, watch it, and I'll call you back in some minutes.
Oh.
Okay, bye-bye.
Abilities. Reading comprehension is the ability to read a written text and understand its meaning. It relies on two interconnected abilities: word reading, being able to decode the words on the page, and language comprehension, being able to understand the meaning of those words, whether they're written down or just spoken. To read well, both abilities need to be taught and developed. When we read, we don't normally remember the exact words and phrases of the entire text. Instead, we build a mental model, a picture in our head of what's happening and what the text is telling us. The planet glowed brightly in the night sky. Our mental model grows as we read more of the text. We add to it or change it as we come across new ideas and new information. The clearer our mental model, the better our understanding of the whole text. And there are 4 factors that can help this model to grow: background knowledge, vocabulary, language structures, and inference. As we read, we connect the ideas and information in the text with our existing knowledge. If we've read other books about space or seen films about space travel, then we're likely to meet familiar ideas when we read another book set in space. For example, if the text says, "With a crunch, a rocket touched down on the planet's rocky surface. The door of the ship slid open. Glancing nervously from side to side, an astronaut stepped onto the ground." We're told directly that the door opened and the astronaut left the rocket, but we have to use our background knowledge of astronauts and space travel to imagine what the astronaut looks like and what they're wearing. Knowing the meaning of the words we're reading is obviously very important for good comprehension. If we come across a new or unfamiliar word, we can use different strategies to ensure we still understand its meaning. The astronaut took out an aeromometer and began scanning. Aeromometer. I've not heard that word before. To work out the meaning, we might use the context. Here, the aeromometer could be some sort of technical device, as it's being used to scan for something. We might also check similar words to get clues. Aero sounds like it might be to do with the air. A meter sounds like a measuring device, like in thermometer or barometer. So, aeromometer might be a tool for measuring the air. Words on their own aren't necessarily enough to build understanding. It's not until we join them together that we can get a sense of their meaning. No result came from the device, so the astronaut waited. Here, understanding that the conjunction "so" means that one thing is the reason for another thing happening helps us to understand the sentence. The astronaut can't do anything before they get the result. A different conjunction would have given a very different meaning. No result came from the device while the astronaut waited. The use of the conjunction "while" suggests that although there was no immediate result, a result did come later. Often, good comprehension depends on understanding quite small details, such as knowing the meaning of a conjunction, so or while, or recognising exactly what a pronoun is referring to. It began to make a whirring sound. We need to know that the pronoun "it" is the aeromometer in order to follow what's happening. It's rare for a text to tell the reader everything they need to know. Often we have to infer or read between the lines to picture what's going on. Finally, a light on the display flashed green. The astronaut pressed a button on the helmet and the visor began to lift. In the story, we can infer that the astronaut lifts the visor on the helmet because the planet's atmosphere is safe. The text doesn't tell us this, but we use our background knowledge of what a green light normally means to infer that it's signalling to the astronaut, "Okay, safe to take off the helmet." As it happens, the next line confirms the inference we made. Knowing that the air was safe to breathe, Captain Sarah of the Starship Endeavour was ready to begin her adventure in space. While each of the factors that help with comprehension can be taught and practiced directly, the best way to develop language comprehension is through talking, listening and reading as often and as widely as possible. In this way, children's reading will really, take off. So if you'll excuse me, I've got some important work to do.
Okay, so how was the video? What did you learn with the video?
Okay, it's necessary to know when we are reading what is happening. Okay, we have to identify the context. We have to connect the ideas. It's very if we use whether we know the vocabulary according to the topic. For instance, technology, okay, that was the first video that you shared with me, and if I know vocabulary about this topic, it will be better. About language structures, and so when to identify the connectors, for example, so while, for instance, so is the way to indicate the result of an action, and while, okay, and it will help us to identify the details of the language structures. And finally, the inference. For instance, the use where about we are talking. So we have to know the context, the environment, to relate all the things that can happen in that moment when we are reading.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, one important thing that you said, and we're going to look at it now here. Well, they talked about the not knowing a word, so just how could you try to understand it, but also the connectors. Yeah, sometimes we do not read the connectors well, and sometimes one connector changes the whole meaning of the sentence, so we have to be very careful with that. Yeah, okay, I'm going to share my screen with you and we are going to read together. This is a very good blog I found, and it gives us tips to approach the reading comprehension. Yeah, so well, I'm not going to read all of this because we cannot do that with the time we have, but we are going to read the tips. Yeah, the first tip they give you is please read it. You are going to read. Please, can you see?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so please begin reading. Read number 1.
Okay, the first one. Do not overemphasize trivialities. Details are important, but don't be obsessive with examples, illustrations, and so on. You just need to find a main point and not examples. Comprehending the overall flow and structure will help you analyze and answer the questions.
Exactly, so you don't have to emphasize trivialities. The thing is that sometimes we are so stressed out, yeah, with the fact that we don't understand it well, that we emphasize words or sentences that are not important. Yeah, so this is what it means. Don't overemphasize it. If you don't need it, just let it go and try to understand the overall flow of the structure. Yeah, it will just help you analyze and understand all the questions. So, 2. Read number 2.
Do not memorize. You don't need to memorize every word in the passage. Understanding the flow, the structure, and the passage priority. For fact or specific point questions, you can always reread the passage.
Very good, yeah. So, yeah, don't memorize, don't go to the question and, oh, but in the question it doesn't say tall, it says big, for example, yeah? No, but it says tall, not big, so then you're memorizing one word that it's a synonym, and you should not be memorizing those words, but just trying to understand what you have to answer to. Do not read the passage first, please. Number 3.
Do not read the passage first. Okay. Always go through the questions first and then the passage. This will prepare you to focus on the things you need in the passage. Only on the and not on a particular answer option. A quick overview of the questions is sufficient.
Yeah, so one thing that we talked about this when we had the collaborative encounters, it was that, well, we go and we read the questions first. Yeah, that's the way it should be. When we read the questions first, sometimes we go and read the answers and we say, oh, that might be the right answer because it's what I think. Yeah? So, if it's what I think and it's not in the text, so it's not right. You should not focus on just one question, on just one answer because you think that's the right one. No, just read the general questions and the general ideas of the answers so that you have the general, the general idea in your head and do not focus only on one question because it may be the right one, but it may not be the right one. So that's it. Okay, go to the number 4.
Me to analyze first the question.
It would
reading the passage.
It would be better first when you approach a reading exercise. What is it gives you more time is that you go and read the questions first. Yeah. Once you read the questions, you can go and find them in the passage. Yeah. But the point on this is not that you. I'm going to explain this in Spanish. Es que cuando hablábamos de esto, hablamos, por ejemplo, digamos que les tocara un texto que hablara del aborto, un ejemplo, ¿sí? Y mi posición con el aborto es que, pues, no está bien, ¿sí? No está bien. Entonces, pero el texto, digamos que sea un texto que esté en pro del aborto. Entonces, digamos que dentro de una pregunta yo tengo 3 opciones y una de ellas dice, el aborto no está bien. Y entonces yo digo, esa es, porque es lo que yo pienso, pero no es lo que el texto dice. Entonces sí, hay que leer primero las preguntas y leer cada una de las respuestas, pero no enfocarme en una sola respuesta, sino estar abierta a que abierto a que cualquiera de esas 3 respuestas o 4 puede ser la correcta dentro del texto, ¿ok?
Analizarlas todas.
Yes. Okay, 4.
Do not overemphasize on vocabulary skills for RCS. What is the meaning? I'm sorry. Okay, I suppose I'm reading.
Reading comprehensions, yeah.
Having a strong vocabulary is great. However, having Shakespearean vocabulary will prevent you from understanding the passage. So do not put yourself under the stress in this area. Reading the passage, make sure that you understand the gist of the passage and do not get stuck on particular words.
Yeah, so what do you understand here?
So it's necessary to continue if you don't understand some words. Okay, you have to continue reading the passage. And if you don't know vocabulary, you can go ahead reading in order to know the context, and it's probable that we can find the main point according to the rest of the sentence.
Exactly, that's it. Okay, we are not going to read this one because it doesn't apply for the Septo. On the Septo, you have to read all the reading comprehensions in the way they send it to you, so it's not applicable for us. But point 6, so please read point 6.
Okay. Do not think the correct option would come from outside the passage. Any of the options that is out of scope is never the correct answer. The right answer is always based on within the passage, not on any of the options that distract you from the passage.
That's what I told you, yeah? So, I think it's right because I think so. No, if I think so, it's not right. When you can see it on the text, it's right. But if it's not in the text, then it's not right, yeah? And then 7.
Do not
Rely
on trigger words.
on trigger words. No te confíes en palabras, I don't remember, como que te cambian el sentido, ¿ya?
Palabras que te cambian el sentido.
Ya vas a leer el resto y ya me vas a entender la traducción tan mal hecha. Por favor, sigue leyendo.
Okay. You might get trapped in the web of trigger words if you don't read attentively through the passage. A passage may focus on one point for quite a bit of sentences and then change the end with trigger words like but or however. This will usually confuse readers who skim through the passage or rush through it
Or rushed through it in haste. So, trigger words are words like but and however. These are words that change the meaning, yeah? But you have to check why are they there, yeah? Because sometimes it's just one sentence adding some information and it's not really important and it's not really answering what you need to, yeah? So sometimes you change the meaning because you read that and you say, oh no, they changed the meaning, but it didn't, yeah? So if you are reading for gist and if you are reading on a rush, if you are reading fast, and you find one of these words, you should stop and read well the passage to see what this word is doing there, okay? Okay, and the other ones, they're not good for us. Okay, so that was the reading comprehension part, like the tips. As we already had the 20 minutes, I'm going to send you exercises so that you do them at home, okay?
Okay.
Some of the exercises I'm going to send you have timing, but I don't think you have a problem with timing. You are the first student I have right now who has not had a problem with timing, so it's okay. I'm going to send you the links so that you can work on them during this week too, okay?
Okay, thank you. Tutor, according to the reading, I have problems because the most of the readings, right?
Yeah, most of the readings, yeah.
The most of the readings had synonyms or similar words to choose. Okay, I had 4 options for answers, and all the points were choosing the best, and everything was synonym and antonym. And in other part, I had to create according to my own words to complete the paragraph.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to send you these ones first so that you can begin practicing the reading skill, and I'm going to look for those with the completing words because those exercises have the problem, and is that they just want 2 words there, and they want them to be the exact words. So that's the problem with it. I'm going to find some exercises of those ones for you, and I'll send them to you tomorrow, okay?
Oh, okay, thank you. Because I didn't know what to do in that.
No, it's okay. Look, the IELTS has a lot of those. When you present the IELTS, you have those too. Let me check because I have my IELTS thing and I can check it there. to send you some tips for that part, because in that part what I tell you, they just want it to be very specific. So if you're not specific, it's not the right thing. Yeah. So I'm going to show you to find some exercises of that type for you, so that you can practice during this week too. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Julia.